want to be? We ready? Okay. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We finally got to the ending of the second book of the Torah, Sefer Shemot, and this is the one that is the getting out from Egypt until we are getting ready to go to the promised land. In that process, we have seen the people of Israel getting out of slavery, going through a process of fleeing from Egypt, many miracles going in through the time, and one of the greatest theophanies is the receiving of the Torah in Har Sinai, in Mount Sinai. There, the Torah has a lot of pictures and give us a lot of midrashim. Only to start this morning, I would like to share with you a modern midrashim about this portion. But before I get there, let me tell you that ending this is not really the ending of this narrative, because we are going to go to the next book that is very specific, and this book is only supposedly 1 month that is going to speak. And this month is going to talk us about the different korbanot or offerings. The next week we are going to start these chapters. I'm going to tell you that there are many, many misunderstandings about these ideas, and sometimes theologians have used this as a way to justify the personal ideas, and sometimes to develop things that was not intended by our Creator, but with the time, with many of the, I will say, traditions that have been developed later on, they have made a lot of things more than what they were intended. One of the things that has been trying to teach in these last years, you have heard me this statement, paradigm shift. And you will be surprised how difficult it is to change your way of thinking when you are totally in one side, or you think in one way, or you have been taught in a certain way, and you have accepted that as a truth. Now, I will say this. I do not believe that there are religious people who they have the intention to lie to people. And I think many of the religious people are as wrong as they can be, and they don't even know that they're wrong. Why? Because they don't want to see it. They don't want to search. They don't want to look. Okay. Many of them, they are very comfortable who they are, what they know, and nobody move me from my place. I remember one person that used to say, "I never surrender," and I never change. And I know how this person is right now. Not only is totally defeated, not only almost totally destroyed. Why? Because didn't want to accept changes and see the things for what they were, not for what they were told to be. No? This is pride. And one of the things that we need to get away is from pride. The scripture talks about Abraham Avinu, our father Abraham, our Moshe Rabbeinu, our great prophet and teacher, Moses. And they had something in common. They were friends of the Creator, and they had equality. They were very humble. And they didn't need to show off for what they really were. And this is what is the characteristic of a true man or woman that walks with the Creator. It is that we do not need to show off. And you're going to see that religiosity is a way of showing off. You're going to try to show off more than others. Your payoffs are going to be longer. Your sixes need to go down to the floor, or in the other religions, depending how they dress and on how they look, holier than thou. You don't need to do that because you are who you are. Our Messiah Yeshua said that everything comes from inside, not from outside. Most of us, we live in a life of cosmetics. You know, it is all appearances. And we are more worried about the appearance than about reality. To the point that even religious people, they tell you that it is better to keep the appearance even if you don't believe it. You know? And because that make you, some people say, you need to keep this mitzvot even if you do not understand it, because that is the way. And others say, you need to believe in this doctrine even if you don't, it's a dogma and you don't need to understand it, only you need to believe it. There are so many things, and we become robots. And one of the things that the Creator has made us is free. He has given us free will. Then, at the end of this book, where we're going to see the transition of the people. And the change of paradigm is very difficult. You will be surprised to know that they took 40 years, that generation, and that generation was not able to come to the promised land because they were not ready to take it. And there was a new generation that needed to come in. In this process, there were many things that happened. And the Creator revealed through Moshe Rabbeinu a lot of things to the people that they're going to be a continuity and they're going to give it to other generations. But something that is important that I would like for you to understand from me is that everything that the Creator showed to the people of Israel and asked the people to Israel was a process. What I mean with a process, I have mentioned to you this idea of wean the child. You know? There is, you know, the mother takes the child, you know, and the child is totally from birth to certain age is totally depending on the mother. In that process, the mother little by little is making the distance with the child. And you know, if they are separating and they need to start changing, and the child needs to start becoming more self-aware. And this is what the Creator started doing with Israel. You know, many of the things that He gave us as things to look at, as a process of all our paraphernalia, religious paraphernalia. What in the sense that was copies from other places to bring us to us, but that the people of Israel will go in a transition. You know, when you are hooked to a drug, like for example heroin, what they do with the drug addicts that they want to get out of the drug, they don't say cut, cool, you know, stop, don't put in. They give it another. They call methadone, methadone, and this in this way they substitute the real drug for something lesser. That's not totally lesser, but is lesser. And it's taking the person little by little out of that very bad drug. No? Well, what Israel was coming from a very drug, religious setting, heavily drug. And they needed little by little to be taken out of that attitude. And the Lord was giving them methadone, you know, a little lesser and lesser and lesser until when they're going to come to the point that they wouldn't need it any longer, the drug. And they will look directly to the Creator. Can you imagine when suddenly you have been under a people who they have many, many gods and they have opulent palaces and temples, and their priests were dressed in a magnificent way. There was something splendorous, and they look at that as they eat, the indomie. That was the top of the top, and they wanted that because they thought that was the greatest thing that anything can have. Today when we talk about, you're going to see right now with the phones, the cellular phones. Almost every other day comes a new phone. And what people want? A new phone. They have we start with a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every time there comes a new number, you buy it. A little bigger, more big, they have this more, and everybody is totally in this thing. What is the new thing? They wanted the new thing. All of us, sometimes we do not have our own personality. We become imitators. We cannot stand up for ourselves. We need to do what other people do. We cannot stand up and say, I believe in this way. Or we cannot stand up and say, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do, but I don't need to imitate your bad behavior. But Israel was a child. Were not mature. And suddenly, they have beautiful gods, images, sculptures, pictures, paintings, palaces, temples, all of that. And comes this God and say, the invisible God, the transcendental God, the God that you cannot see, the God that you can sense his presence, but you cannot see, cannot be touched. Moshe Rabbeinu himself was, please show me your face, show me something, do something, I want to see you. That was part of the situation. And not only that, but they not only wanted to touch him and see him, they wanted to make him an image. And that's the first thing in the Torah he say, you shall not make a likeness or image of me. I am the God of history. I am the God who took you out of Egypt. I am real God, and I'm going to be with you, but you cannot do those things. That takes a little bit of courage and time for the people of Israel to get adjusted. There were, later on, I'm going to tell you about the sacrifices or the gift that were given to the gods. And you're going to compare it with what Israel was given by the revelation of the Creator. Because it was needing to take them out of that picture. This paradigm shift is very difficult. When people see me and talks to me, the first thing they say to me is, oh, you are a Christian. Why? Because I believe in the Messiah Yeshua. When I came here to Montreal for the first time, almost 25 years ago, I was interviewed by the Jewish newspaper here. And the first thing they told the reporter, the journalist, I am not a Christian. And from that moment on, I have been listed by both sides. Because you're near there, you're near here. Who are you? Because people, they want to put you in a category. You need to be categorized. And I say to you, you don't need to be categorized because you can have a relationship with the Creator and you don't need to have a religion. You need to have a relationship. This is the ending of this time. And the Creator is getting Israel out of a big thing that they were for hundreds of years. Now, in this process, like I mentioned to you, it's little by little. It cannot be done in one instance. Many people say to me, but Rabbi, why the Creator, with all the power, in one touch, he took everything from Israel. Why he didn't say, abracadabra, pata de cabra, boom, gone, everything is okay? Because free will. Bechira Hofshi. He respects us. Believe me or no, the Creator has more respect for us than we have sometimes for him. Well, we are at the end. Many things have happened. But one of the things at the end, there are these final parashats. You have from Truma, you got Teksaveh, and then you have Kitiksa. Kitiksa is in the middle, and then comes Vayakhel and Pekudei. Two parashas on one side and two parashas on the other side, involving, this middle parasha, where is the sin of the golden calf. At the beginning, from chapter 25 to 31, you are going to see the developing and the announcements about the building of a Mikdash. And you shall make a dwelling for me in which I will dwell with them. The idea was that we were going to be, the Creator was going to be always inside us. But after the sin of the golden calf, everything changed. And then the second part, it is now supposedly after the sin, the process of making themselves, reconciliating and redoing, and the teshuvah and all those things. Just before I continue, let me give you this modern midrash to understand these portions. They say that there was a young couple in modern times. You know how modern times are, no? They get ahead of time, and they, instead to wait for the real wedding, they start living together, no? People don't like that, but that's what is happening right now. There are very few situations now that the husband and wife, they come without knowing each other before the wedding. They have been living together. That's very normal. And then they're preparing a house, and they start buying different furniture, and they already have fixed the date for their wedding. But right now, the wedding is not any longer to be together. The wedding means that it's only to make it official. That's all. Then we have lost many of those things. Then they start preparing with the furniture, and then the groom, at this time, because they are still not married, say to the bride, I have been called for a business, and I need to go, and I am coming back. But we still have these furniture, and maybe we need to bring other things. But what I'm going to bring to you, the most special thing, is arbouts. What I have written for you, that in the way I promise you my eternal love, and you have accepted, we have read it together, you have accepted that this is our love. But I'm going to put it in a frame, and I'm going to put it in the center of our living room. Then he goes to a business trip, that he needed to go. And she is preparing the house, and suddenly, in that time of waiting, and she's singing and all those things, comes an old boyfriend, comes an old boyfriend, and he starts saying, hey, how you doing? What is your groom? What is your boyfriend? I said, he has going away for a trip, but he's coming soon. Okay, I'm going to be here in town. We can go. We can do something. Okay. And she kept waiting and waiting and waiting. She said she had never gone so long, you know. And the old boyfriend start bringing flowers and doing this, you know. And she start remember the old friend, you know. And she, well, I don't think he's coming back. I think he left me. You know, and then she go with your old friend. And he has a small affair. I don't want to make it too big because I don't want to be melodramatic here, you know. And then suddenly they are having the affair, and comes the groom, very happy, with with the principle that they had signed and that they were going to live every day happily, you know, happily ever after, with their list. And he sees his bride with the old friend together. And he burst and break the beautiful picture that he had brought and break it and don't want to see it more, you are a bad girl and whatever, and got the old friend and make it liquid. Liquefy him. He used a food processor and then he gave it to drink it to everybody. Well, after that, she is really sorrow. And she cries. And she begs. And she says, I'm sorry, but I didn't want to, but you know you were not coming. I thought that you abandoned me. And then the groom, his heart start again having pity for the bride. And he said, okay, I'm going to redo the piece of, but at this time, you're going to do certain things. Because now I don't trust you completely anymore. This is a modern midrash of what happened with Israel. And we are right now in the process of rebuilding what? Trust. But who needs to rebuild trust? The groom or the bride? The answer will be both. But more the bride. But not only that, but in this process needs to be a moment of reconciliation, accepting of the sin that the bride has committed, and to receive total forgiveness from the groom. Because there is no total forgiveness, couldn't be a good relationship anymore. And he couldn't bring back the sin of her constantly. But you did this to me, but you did this to me. You know? Like we usually do, no? I forgive you, but I want to remind you the rest of your life what you did to me. Well, if you see these pictures, you are going to start having a better understanding about our Creator and how much He loves Israel. And the bride, later on, we read here at the end of these chapters, not only they repented, but now they wanted to give even more for building the apartment, to building the Mikdash. To the point that the Creator needed to say to the people of Israel, don't bring no more. It's too much. And all of them, they say they gave it. We a glad heart. This is a true relationship. And in this picture, you have all the ingredients that you need to have. From the true love, to the giving yourself, to the point of accepting reconciliation and teshuvah. True teshuvah. True coming back. And the only way that you can receive forgiveness, the only way that you can be forgiven by our Creator, not by cutting yourself in little pieces, not by blaming somebody else to die for you, not to get an animal cut in the neck and to put the blood in the other side. The only way that our Creator truly give you the absolution is through a real teshuvah. This is what he's teaching to the people of Israel. Because our Creator knows our hearts. We can fool anybody. We are such good liars that even we lie to ourselves. You will be surprised how good liars we are, that we are still believing our own lies. We invent it, and then we start believing it. And that's what happened in the religious world. We create lies, and we make these lies truth. And what happens when you make a lie a truth? You destroy the truth. You know, how many times I have been trying to teach the people about certain sayings of our Messiah Yeshua, our Rabbi Yeshua. You know, he brought wonderful things. Many people think he invented. No, there are many of those sayings that he brought to us were already part of the Jewish folklore tradition. He brought it to us in a very special way. Like any rabbi, for example, I just told you another midrash. It's not mine. I read it from somebody else. I bring it to you. I share it with you. And you're going to say, wow, this rabbi is so smart. Well, look at it. No, it is something that I learned. I prepare myself to give you something. Yeshua was a very, very brilliant teacher. He was a prophet. He is my Messiah. And what he brought was to tell the people about the right way, not to get away with the religion, but to come back to God. Because at that time of Yeshua, religiosity was a drug. Everybody was druggy. And if you didn't follow that, you were out of the community. You were out of place. You needed to do what everybody does. You know you will be odd. You will be somebody crazy. I always say that I was born to swim against the current. I don't know why, but my nature always telling me, when they say to you, go to the right, I go to the left. And when they say go to the left, I go to the right. And I don't do it because I like it. I do it because I try to do what is right. When somebody says something to me, can sound very beautiful and nice, I need to take my time. I need to analyze. I don't take everything because somebody told me. I always have said, I am so glad that I had the revelation from the Creator, because if I didn't have it, I wouldn't even know if I could believe that I exist. I doubt about my own shadow. Then to have little bit of faith, to me, is a miracle. And see how gracious and wonderful is our Creator. Blessed be His name. And here, this is what a point that I want to make. Yeshua said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And you need to understand freedom before you understand anything else. People confuse being free with being libertine. And freedom is totally the opposite. When you are free, you become the most responsible person in the world. You care about others. Because you don't need to impress anybody. You don't need to live under the expectations of anybody. You don't need to be trying to, pacify or please anybody. You know, the religious people, they have their gods, and they're constantly trying to appease their God. You know, they're trying to, please come down, don't be ugly with us. You know, they're trying to gain their favor. What kind of God it is that is trying to gain his favor? He doesn't know me how I am? That is in order that you see the process of win, the process of you need to do a paradigm shift. You need to look at the Creator, not as your enemy or somebody who is pointing you with a finger. But you need to look at the Creator as your Father, as your loving Father who wants the best for you. As your loving mother, if you want to, and wants the best for you, want to take care of you. You need to look at that He is on your side, not against you. He is not your enemy. The only time that He can become an enemy of somebody is when somebody becomes destructive, and when somebody becomes against all the things that He has given to us. And this is the point. Once you understand what I mean to be free, you can understand what Yeshua is telling you. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. What it means is the term true, a euphemistic term, emet, for the term for the Creator. At the time of Yeshua already, we couldn't pronounce the name of the Creator because already has created a tradition that you do not name His name, because the misunderstanding of the second commandment, that you shall not pronounce His name in vain or mention His name in vain, you know, our dear sages and rabbis, they make a law. And the law is that you could never, ever more, you couldn't pronounce His name. And that's not what the commandments say. They say, you do not use my name in vain. He doesn't say, do not mention my name. Do not utter my name. But that is religiosity. They give you something, and then they make a law. And when they make a law, they make a prison. And they put you in a cell. And all the religions love you to put you in a cell, in a prison. They are going to give you their do's and don'ts. Like if you do not trust in your relationship with the Creator. And you need intermediaries. And your prayers and your relationship with the Creator will never go directly. You need to go through other ways. What kind of Creator, what kind of God can you have if He cannot hear you? How many times I have heard people to say, well, we need other people because God is too busy. What kind of God do you believe that is too busy to hear you? And this is why we need to change our ways. We need to do a true paradigm shift. We need to do a change. And that's what it means, getting out of Egypt and going to the promised land. Because in Egypt, you were a slave. In Egypt, you didn't need to think. They told you what to do. When they take you outside Egypt, finally you start thinking for yourself. Don't follow men. Follow the Creator. Jeremiah Hanavi, the prophet Jeremiah. Cursed be the name who trusts in man, but blessed be the man who trusts in God. Who do you trust? Are you in the process of getting out of the drug? Are you cleaning your life? Or you are still with the drug? We need to be honest with ourselves. You know, when I was young, I had one of my heroes was Karl Marx. Oh, you will say, oh, you're a communist. No. He says something that always kept in my mind. Religion is the opiate of the people. And I am understanding that better and better and better. What a drug does to you? Make you zoom. Destroy your brain. Your cells, your thinking cells are destroyed. Your neurons are cut. More drugs you use, less intelligent you are. This is a process. But you always, God is giving you the second chance. And that's what is the reason they call my God, the God of the beginning again. He never, ever stopped loving us. Maybe we, but then, like I said to you, are you now changing your way of thinking? Are you in the process of becoming a new person? Are you doing that shift, that change? It's not easy. Because it's not only you the one needs to change. It's the people who's around you, especially with the people who are close to you. That's the very difficult part.